What, nothing? I was just out there. Why didn't you tell me?
Oh boy.
It would have been nice to know.
Yeah.
Greetings and welcome to Agrama. I am pleased that Starfleet sends such a notable officer as its representative at this conference. Please enter a standard orbit and transport down to these coordinates. This meeting may mark the beginning of a new day for the Federation and the Romulan Star Empire.
Yeah, I suppose better get up. Both of you want to turn back on. One needs an attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
The rest of the delegates are already in the conference room. My aide, Jevem, will take you there. I have some business to attend to before we begin.
Welcome to Agrama. Isn't this a lovely facility? You must tour the atrium later. Hard to believe this system was infested by Orion pirates not long ago. You know, some of my colleagues were against this meeting, but I lobbied for it. I said the entire Federation cannot be as blind as the people who were at the farce at Kittery. If you just see the problems the Romulan Republic are causing, I'm sure you can persuade your government to reconsider their rash choice and sever their agreements with these rebels.
I am so pleased to see the Federation recognize and attempt to rectify its past mistakes. I knew that a people as clever as yours would realize eventually that it is folly to antagonize the Romulan Star Empire. I am also confident it will only be a matter of time before you realize that you have made a grievous error by allying yourselves with terrorists, scoundrels, and thieves. The sooner you renounce your poorly considered alliance with the so-called Romulan Republic, the sooner we will be able to come to a mutually beneficial arrangement.
It is agreeable to meet with you. You have my people's enduring gratitude for how you handled that matter with Ambassador Soket. This is another trying time for Vulcan. The Romulan Star Empire blames the Vulcan Science Academy for the Hobus supernova that destroyed their world. They are utterly intransigent in this misguided belief, despite the fact that Ambassador Spock warned them of the danger and ultimately gave his life to stop the loss of even more worlds. Romulans are a most illogical people. Sometimes I find it hard to believe we were once a single species.
I thought the Federation's alliance with the Romulan Republic would be the end of any meaningful dialogues with Empress Sela. After all, she considers the Republic to be a terrorist organization. She may have an ulterior motive for inviting us here, but we had to take the chance that Sela's offer to negotiate is sincere and act in kind. The Federation must pursue every avenue for peace.
The Romulans can be so difficult to deal with, especially these Imperials. They are forever setting traps, twisting words, and jockeying for advantage. Even a conference with the Klingons would be preferable. At least you know where you stand with Klingons. I'm reminded of a line I read once in an ancient Earth text. Hide a knife behind a smile. Every smile here hides a knife.
We are so pleased that you were able to attend our conference. The Empire was quite dismayed at your decision to support the terrorist insurgents rather than the rightful government of the Romulan people. So much for your vaunted Prime Directive. In any case, neither of us benefit from extended conflict. So, despite your questionable alliances, we are choosing to open negotiations in hopes of normalizing relations between the Federation and the Romulan Star Empire.
I apologize for the interruption. My name is Toka. I am one of the stewards here. We've had a slight complication with the dietary requirements of some of your delegation. Could I borrow you for a moment so we can clear this up?
You gotta follow? I thought you had to follow him.
Yeah.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Franklin Drake says you can be trusted, and that is enough for me. There's more going on here than a diplomatic conference. Sela has no interest in courting the Federation. So why is she suddenly doing so now? We're going to find out what she's up to. The lower level of this facility is off limits to everyone but the Empress and her aides. But that access hatch right over there opens up to a maintenance tunnel that leads down. The doorway is guarded, so while I distract the guards, you sneak through the door. Just ahead, in the northeast corner of the room, there will be a security room near the exit of the maintenance tunnel on the level below us. Access one of the consoles there. Maybe you'll learn more about what she's doing. I need to get back to the reception before I'm missed. But I should be able to cover your absence for a few minutes. More than that, then you're on your own.
Empress, the fleet is on its way to Vulcan.
Excellent. Have the weapons loaded aboard my ship. I will depart as soon as they are on board. At last, we will have our revenge for the destruction of Romulus. Hail Hakiv and put him through
Who's
to
the
my personal
astronaut?
terminal. Then leave me. I have
There
matters to
is.
attend to.
Oh,
Yes, Empress.
National.
Oh,
Computer, begin playback of file 2895 Gamma.
After I left Starfleet, I made it my life's work to reunite the Romulans with their Vulcan brothers. For many years, I lived among them and waged a campaign of peace. 21 years ago, the star of the Hoover system went supernova and sent a wave of devastation across the quadrant. I promised to save the Romulan homeworld. I failed.
Computer, end file. I cannot suffer more of that arrogant fool. Soon, Vulcan will suffer the same fate as my world.
I have Hakiv, Empress.
Patch him through.
Greetings, Empress.
My fleet has launched for Vulcan. I expect you to rendezvous with us there.
Alas, I must disappoint you. The terrorist cells of the Romulan Republic demand my full attention. Kittler did not go as planned. Now they have powerful allies, and with Thomas missing.
Spare me your excuses, Hakiv. Nothing is more important than avenging the destruction of our homeworld. You disappoint me, Hakiv. I trust you will not do so again.
oh, excuse me.
I should have known the Federation would send spies instead of diplomats. And you call us treacherous. No matter. You may have destroyed these weapons, but my fleet is already en route to Vulcan. You cannot stop what has begun. Guards! Capture the intruders!
Whatever you did down there, it made quite an impression. Good work on disabling the transport inhibitor. Your ambassadors are safely back on their ships, but I had to blow my cover to get them there. Now it's time for me to get out while I still can. Farewell.
Oh, buddy.
They just said no.
Nothing? Don't want nothing, huh? Does that look like nothing?
Nope.
Does that look like nothing?
Nope.
Not to me either. You pissed? You begged. Like it's not like you don't mean when you're on my lap that you didn't want me.
I had not expected to hear from you so soon. Was your mission successful? I should have expected as much. You cannot trust them. I never do. I am contacting all available ships. We will meet you there. Thanks to your warning, we were able to divert some ships to defend Vulcan. I have come to personally command the defense. The other forces have already been briefed. Your role in this battle will be to defend the science vessels that have set up a tachyon detection grid to detect any cloaked Romulan ships. We cannot allow any enemy ships to slip through.
But he was sick earlier, huh?
He was he?
Yep, right where I'm sitting.
Oh boy.
Yep. Stomach was really sour because I could see little chunks in it too.
Oh
White
boy.
chunks. Cleaned it and then I put some Lysol into it.
Ah.
That's good. Not that. No. No heat.
The ships maintaining the grid will be priority targets for the Romulans, but they must remain in position or the grid will collapse. That is why I need you to protect them.
If you would be. Oh. See.
How can you fight what you cannot see? Surrender now, and I may give you a merciful death.
You may, huh?
There you go.
So nice of you. Right?
Our tachyon detection grid has revealed scout ships attempting to penetrate the perimeter.
Look at the full
Vulcan must pay for its crimes.
Hey, Tico. Got some flies in here. Catch them. Put you to work.
Maintain formation. All other forces converge on the Romulans.
Quite true at that way. But the guy is touching. Oops, sorry, back. That's part of it.
Huh?
Is this far from that chair?
Oh boy.
4 on each end of the back and 3 up the end.
Oh boy.
You may have won this day, but the fight will continue. Romulus will be avenged. There will be blood for blood, death for death. My world is gone. I will not rest until Vulcan suffers the same fate. Indeed. Then why does Starfleet use ships equipped with weapons of mass destruction? Why did the Vulcan Science Council willfully refuse to assist us when there was a chance to save our world? Every sorrow in my life can be laid at the feet of the Federation.
I have
Congratulations, Lieutenant Commander.
I have new missions for you.
I have forwarded your mission reports and the recovered data to Starfleet Intelligence. We now know the Romulans have been researching Borg technology, and they were willing to risk a war with the Federation to advance their goals. There is a 76.77% chance that Starfleet will have to take action against the Romulans to prevent them from upsetting the balance of power with this research. If that occurs, I predict that we will need you and your crew to assist in averting calamity. You have done well. Live long and prosper.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Commander.
Tequila, the survivor you rescued from Demora Station, has provided some very interesting information about both the Tal Shar and the new race with which they've allied. Meanwhile, the Romulan Republic and neutral colonies are continuing to report mysterious abductions. We believe these two events are related. Tequila wants to go home to her colony on Serene Prime. The colony there has remained independent from both the remains of the Romulan Star Empire and the burgeoning Romulan Republic. That puts them in a delicate balancing act. We thought taking Tequila home could be a good opportunity to figure out what's happening behind the scenes of the Romulan conflict. We would like you to go to Serene Prime and investigate. I have new...
Traveling itch?
Yep.
You're going back outside to let Nora flies in? Don't you think 8 or 10 is enough?
Maybe.
Well, then why are you going back outside?
Because I can.
Just let more in.
Well, you see people sleeping.
Yeah. Creepy, huh?
Yep. The handle on the door jutted briefly as something hard on the other side. Then just as abruptly as it appeared,
Yes, buddy.
the intruder moved back down the hall away from the door towards the as it did so. Yes, I was terrified. Possessed by curiosity, he hoped he could see where someone else sat at the end of the hallway. At least it was a good distance from his very yet, that was where the bottom entrance of the dresser barricaded himself inside. Creeping towards the door, Bill took a deep breath in and slowly, letting the light flood towards him, carefully opening the cell. It took a moment for his eyes to adjust.
Jolan True, and welcome to Serene Prime. Oh, thank you for returning to Kala to us. I'm sure her family is pleased she is safe. However, you have arrived at an interesting time. I was just preparing to meet with representatives from the Romulan Star Empire and the Romulan Republic. Each are urging our colony to join their faction. We've done our best to stay out of the conflict until now, but I fear we will soon be forced to take a side. Yes, the Empire has a way of offering assistance that feels more like a threat. They offered security services for my world, and I could not risk refusing them. And, to be fair, there have been no abductions since the fleet began protecting the planet. A number of our citizens went missing in the weeks before the Empire arrived. The Empire blames the Republic, of course, but I think Sela likes to blame them for a lot of things. There's no evidence they are responsible, however. In fact, there's no evidence at all. And I think that if the Republic were behind these kidnappings, they would leave some trace behind. If you... Well, what did you think of them? An interesting perspective. Thank you for your suggestion. Our most convincing evidence comes from a survivor of Virenat. And if his story can be believed, he says he knows who is behind these abductions. You should speak to him before you leave. He's behind that building.
I sympathized with my friend. Told him that happened this morning. most of all, there was a fear in his eyes, an unspoken malicious contemplation etched in his face. Without a spending limit painting that housed them both in a false show of them. Trying my best for me was concerned to set up another action. One just contemplating himself against him once and for all. The interior creature of the house. Creation's end. First of all, our task was to find these tenants. It required us to do the experience and switch to the station. I didn't wish to know. Since I was a strict organization trained to do most of that house to do concept. Something that means that the question of why was while we were waiting to get back from previous tenants, we set about preparing the house for it. It was going to try and identify and track first. We established that we were smashing the traps open as interested in silver and junk. So we used this as we had to. Second, most physical evidence was something else. With this in mind, we went to all its contents, placing boxes, furniture, other assorted items, and those assorted items. Third was the mission. I covered the full box of flowers with lastly, we purchased some fishing line used to make a snare trap for the launch. It was attached to a wide basin near the ground and slide on the floor. Inside the loose wire placed a large pile of chocolate. Next is we placed a large cabinet used to store the slippery from the snare. Though children were from over homes to sleep to school as time passed, occasionally we were sitting in the garden some of them obviously annoyed as we were kids. It was actually fun. And as we talked and laughed, they had everything, torches in hand. I was glad to see the tension slowly fade from their shoulders. But we said, until after 2 in the morning, at which juncture we decided to return to the stars again. So quickly, I left my feet as both stared across it. Now it was quite clear that we were both unsure what opened the door. Such a violent and sudden noise echoed out from the top. Just when we were after a pause, the last fleeting remnants of the Dutch courage, we both grabbed the door and slid it upward to reveal what was inside.
Citizens of the Empire, it is with great sorrow that I report the destruction of our colony in the Virinat system by the terrorist insurgents known as the Romulan Republic. I believe most of the residents of Virinat were loyal subjects of the Empire who were unaware of the terrorist cell hidden amongst their homes and families. Their deaths are a tragedy. When the Tal Shiar attempted to remove the insurrectionists and save Virinat and its people, the Romulan Republic destroyed the entire colony rather than submit to the lawful authority of my forces. I grieve for the loss of innocent life. Rest assured that those responsible will be found and punished for their crimes against the Romulan people. Virinat will not be forgotten.
Josh.
All Starfleet vessels, our allies in the Romulan Republic, are under attack by the Tal Shiar. All combat-ready vessels are ordered to report to New Romulus immediately. Individual orders to follow. Thank you for responding so quickly. Your orders are to rendezvous with Battle Group Phi at Virinat and proceed to New Romulus to reinforce our vessels there. The battle is already underway.
Glad to have you here. Let's get to New Romulus.
We exited the vents when we began to reluctantly move down the hallway. Each step felt like prison cells, and I could hear not just Felicia's breath, but the whistles of those buried in the building. We stepped cautiously down the hall and kept our eyes to the elevator tracks which slid through the flower of the windows. As it came twice at the sound of the creaking floor of the room. Deep voice, and I held my breath as I turned.
We are grateful beyond words for your help. You have arrived in the nick of time. New Romulus does not have the developed orbital defenses necessary to repel such an attack, and Admiral Kararek is calling for as many ships as possible to defend the planet.
The flotilla protecting the planet has been pushed back by the enemy assault. They are at their final line now. They need your help. Glad you could join us. Concentrate fire on their command ship.
On behalf of the Romulan Republic, thank you for your assistance today. You have saved our new world from destruction. We cannot begin to repay these deeds you have performed today, but know that your names will go down in history.
Several weeks passed. That night,
The Romulan Republic extends their sincere gratitude for your assistance in saving their homeworld. We now know the race you encountered there is called the Alachi, and they are the Tal Shar's new allies. From what you found on Virinet and what they tried to do at New Romulus, I'd say that whatever they're doing is not in our best interests. The Republic is continuing to search for clues to reveal what exactly is happening to the people being abducted by the Alachi. You, however, may be set to a different task. I have...
Congratulations, Lieutenant Commander.
The cause of the supernova that destroyed Romulus remains a mystery. Our allies in the Romulan Republic have a theory on the matter, however. They believe that Taurus, the former praetor of the Romulan Star Empire, is responsible. Republic forces attempted to apprehend her, but she escaped through an Iconian gateway. Recently, the Republic has discovered new information that could help us track down Taurus. We want you to rendezvous with the RRW Lisette and provide any assistance you can. I have new missions for you.
Travel with your social
On a forgotten world, a shadow of great evil lurks, waiting for the chance to strike. The truth behind the destruction of the Romulus system may be the harbinger of the greatest threat the Federation has ever faced.
Including pictures and videos of the stories told on this podcast. Or to suggest stories for future episodes, please visit us at Creepy on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or stories told on this podcast can be found at creepypasta.com and protected by a Creative Commons license. Some rights reserved, unless otherwise stated.
Well, believe it or not, it's just one day. I'm not carefully sure how that happened. Flies when you read scary stories, I guess. I also can't believe it. For years since the last time our reporter was teasing big things to come in, told her. That's right. As the sun flies by, that could be one week is coming. With Halloween comes Cookies 31 days in a row. 31 straight days of scary stories can have you ready for nothing. Bad days here, folks. Just the best holiday of the year. That means we need stories. It's all open up to you, the listeners. Is there a story you've been waiting to hear and have not? Do you have your own story that you think would be good for the podcast? Now's your time to send in all scripts and recommendations. Just a couple of requirements. If you are submitting a story, please keep them under 3,000 words. More than that gets too difficult to read and produce stories. Also, please send them with their edited and ready to go. If you want a story, there will be a few of them, so it takes a long time to go through. Please put your best foot forward. I can't wait to look at the stuff stories y'all have rattling around in your minds. Also, please understand we can't get back to your hopes and answer stories. So if you don't get back to us within a few days, we'll be sending that to lose your story. It's something personal. And if you have a particular narrator in mind for your story, please let us know that as well. You can send your scripts and recommendations to creepysubmissions@gmail.com. The email is also in the show notes, just in case.
Yeah, okay, I'm
Get
coming.
those stories in ASAP.
Let's go, let's
As soon
go.
as we get 31 stories lined up, we'll be closing submissions. That could be a week,
Let's go.
a month. It'll happen. Good luck. As always, thanks for listening.
Hey, let's go.
Stay cool.
Come here, buddy. Buddy.
was a whirlwind of lights and smoke, music and men. I lived in a beaten-up shanty, close to no fence, crammed in a closet-like room with a bunch of wood. We slept on mats on the dirt floor and shared the space with mangy-nested dogs, big cats, and cockroaches. My wardrobe consisted mostly of skimpy skirts, tank tops, and the cheapest high heels I could buy in Canada. After a hard night at the bars of dancing and exposing myself, sometimes spending time in a back room with a heavily drunk man, and my eyes like a dead fish staring at the ceiling, I earned enough cash to go to the thrift shop. The weather in Manila had become chilly at night, and I needed a sweater. I took a walk down a few streets that smelled of garbage and human urine, mixed with the smog from jeepneys, tricycles, and trucks that never ended. It wasn't long before I found a street lined with secondhand clothes, undoubtedly from American charities, but somehow grabbed my greedy merchants looking to make extra business. The sweater was like a pearl in mermaid waters as it lay neatly on top of a bunch of tattered, motley clothes. Wondering how someone had not yet bought it, I quickly took it in my hands and extended the richness of the fabric. It was as soft as a rabbit's fur, and just as warm. Across its front was a large couch where you could put your hands into the room, and that's where I found the note on a purple piece of yellow paper. It smelled like the section of the library where ancient books could be found, dust and damp. On the paper were scrawled words. Where? 67 Morning Street. Pay. 1,000 pesos a night. Job. Lie on the bed from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Keep your eyes shut. Never open them. Past 3. Your money will be on the dresser. 20 Street. The note did not say which city, but I recall the name of a street and saw that one of my roommates used to visit for a client.
It is a pleasure to be working with you. I heard about how you got your first command. Well done. Not every officer could have stood up to the war like you did.
Not bad. The sweater was wonderful on my skin and made me glow like a snowflake.
Agents working for the Romulan Republic have recovered definite proof that Taurus, or persons working for Taurus, were responsible for the Hobus supernova that destroyed the homeworld. Our agent spoke to Taurus. She claims that she was deceived by Hakim, but that does not excuse her culpability in the destruction of 2 inhabited worlds and the deaths of millions. Our agent tells us that Taurus believes her Iconian masters can change the past and restore Romulus. So not only is she a killer, she's insane. Taurus cannot be allowed to commit even greater crimes in an attempt to fix her mistake. My intelligence officer, Lieutenant Gaius Salam, has intercepted communications that may allow us to locate Taurus and finally bring her to justice. I'll let him explain in greater detail.
Dust. Still, it was 100 times better than the shanty I slept in. The light of the patio was on as I approached, and when I knocked, the door opened as ajar. I called hello.
Greetings. I am Lieutenant Gaius Salam of the Romulan Republic. There are certain pleasantries that are customary in these circumstances. However, I'm choosing to skip those. We have much to do. Recently, the Republic intercepted a transmission from a group of Remans in the Hobus system. These Remans have remained loyal to Taurus, the former praetor of the Romulan Star Empire, who was deposed by Sela. While the transmission was not unusual, its origin point was. The Hobus system is under strict quarantine. However, a previous team uncovered a mining facility at one of the planetary fragments. We believe that the Reman loyalists may have returned to this facility to continue their efforts.
The room reeked of chicken and dried beans. No one was there. I attempted to turn on some light switches, but found them useless. I turned away and headed down a hallway, noticing a
The Hobus system is the origin point of the supernova and subsequent subspace explosion, which destroyed Romulus and Remus. It is still, as you say, a hot zone. Taurus's personal guard. He must be the liaison to the forces in the home system.
I might have turned away. The house was empty. I admit, I thought the job was just going to be another
The direct approach. If we confront the forces in the Hobit system, who are in violation of both Federation and Romulan Republic mandates by their very presence there, they will send a call for assistance to Commander Aranha. Once he arrives, we simply follow him. It is likely that he will lead us back to Tartarus.
Facing the wheel of the clock. 10:53.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've just received emergency orders from Republic Command and must respond. Gaius can transport to your ship and help you complete the mission. We'll return as soon as we can.
Excited. 10:56. My heart throbbed from my chest, through my throat, in my head. I imagined the ticking of a clock. I tried to match my heart with its beat. 10:59. I shut my eyes. Waited. 11 came. I knew with my eyes closed.
Hopefully it was done before you took over.
Was immediate.
Hopefully.
I was not alone. My eyes were shut, yet I felt it. So close to my face, and my new hairs on my forehead. It breathed. Tight.
I am detecting some very rare minerals in the system, as well as the presence
I
of
felt the air warm the area just above my lips.
Taurus used the materials here.
I like eating early because I gotta leave at 6.
And there was something else. Pungent. Quick. Sweet. Blood. I resisted the urge to gag. Seconds turned into minutes, and still the presence lingered against my face. My body suffered, paralyzed with fear. I felt every strange breath. In, out. Slow. Afraid. I felt the slightest itch on my body. Prickles against my legs, bites up my thighs, behind my back and neck. Sweat creeping, crawling, brushing upturned hairs and begging me to scratch and move. I didn't. Bones ached, muscles wept. My heart struggled like a sparrow caught in someone's hands. The presence continued in steady closeness to my face. My forehead glittered with sweat, and now began to bleed. My nose pricked, twitched. I wondered if it saw that. Even my eyelids sweat. My eyes again, 10 times, uncountable times. Steeling myself to start my next move, I breathed. A long inhale. Sourness and the sickly smell of blood swamped my lungs. I gagged, coughed, and then I turned. I turned away into the bed, held myself, needle-like, as hands shut my pulses. When I relaxed, I felt it. Still there, a hair's width away from my face. It was hovering, floating. How could the thing have moved with me? I did not feel any weight in the bed during the transition. Any sign to suggest that it had hovered. It moved beside me, pressed itself against my face. I allowed a few minutes to pass before I again.
As I suspected, the materials are all here.
Our agent located Taurus on planetary fragment Gamma. We should continue our search there.
Soundlessly, until I was completely on my back. Face, eyes shut, staring straight back. The thing looking down upon me relentlessly. I grimaced, knit my brows, sweated. I wanted to bat at it, but I could not. I was too afraid. All I could clutch onto was the promise that this could end. I waited, ached, sweated, prayed. It stayed with me, always there. I could not sleep. Me alone. The digital clock alarmed. Just like that, I was released. The thing that had looked on at my face for 4 hours was gone. I did not immediately open my eyes. I waited until the sweat on my brows was cold and dry. I listened to my body unlock, one by one, like a warden walking through a prison, releasing the prisoners to myself. I could breathe again. My heart pumped cold and strong. I felt my fingers, the warmth on my skin. I yearned to stretch and let life seep through every part of me. I opened my eyes. 1,000 pesos lay on the dresser. 1,000 pesos with a photo on my picture. I took it and did not look back as I left. A week had passed since I left home. Although my money was gone now, spent over things I can't even remember. The memories from that night came back. Not a moment went by where I wasn't thinking of things.
The minerals in the planetary fragment conceal the ship's energy signature. If we hide in the asteroids near it and mask our energy signature, I predict that Aranhu will approach to investigate further and be unable to detect it.
This time, my fears were replaced by a studious curiosity. I noticed that right before it arrived, I did not sense anyone walk into the room. Its appearance was rude.
What happened here? We were attacked by Starfleet 7 Jones. They appear to have fled.
Interesting. This is exactly like scenario 247. I thought scenario 1849K would be a more likely option. I shall incorporate this data into my model of adventures. Nevertheless, we should now be able to follow Aranhu's trail. He should get us right to Taurus.
Cautiously, feeling my bones creep beneath the tenseness of my skin. The sweat building on my right palm and fingers. As my hands reached the lips, I stopped, tested, hesitated. My heart banged like wild mice in a cage. I grimaced, summoning all my courage, eyes sweating behind the lids, temples pounding. My hands moved again. The unseen presence continued its breathing. Steady, undaunted, unmoving. My fingers touched something. I stopped. Every part of my body froze. I could not breathe. The blood on my face swelled as I choked on fear. The breathing from the thing changed. It grew raspy, excited.
Federation ship. I am Commander Shanclado of the Riemann starship Intraku. Your presence here could be considered an act of war. Leave immediately, or we will open fire.
The length of time that passed after, I could not recall.
That is unfortunate, Starfleet. Our conflict is not with you. Commander Arahu has charged me with securing this installation at all costs. Praetor Taris must be allowed to complete her work. And you have already seen too much.
My fingers moved slightly. I felt the firmness of a scalp beneath the hair. The thing continued to breathe, as if enthused. Somehow I had managed to detach myself from the paralyzing terror of my body. And now I was moving my fingers like a puppeteer would to his marionette. They followed the curve of the scalp, lowered until I felt skin. The skin felt torn and jagged, and the sticky fluid was thinning there. My fingers passed the broken skin, and now I was palpating what felt like flesh. Flesh of chopped beef parts, rotten, sticky and soft. I lowered my hands. My heart thumped so hard I thought I might die of heart failure. I was too scared to continue the investigation. It felt like I had been touching a severed just to make sure we weren't spreading any diseases. But lab tests required money. The bar managers I worked for were snapping up only those girls who could give him the negative tests quickly. And space was limited. In spite of the fears I felt, the promises I had made to never return, the need for money was greater. After all, hadn't nothing bad ever happened to me while I was there? 11 p.m. The demonic presence returned. I grimaced.
These are the coordinates for the underground structure we detected.
Not to let it scare me.
Reading life signs, sir.
I told
Multiple
myself,
Remans and one Romulan. Our quarry could be just ahead.
And I would be paid handsomely. I suppose I had gotten used to the presence. For only a few hours into the night, I found myself finally attached to sleep. The rhythm of its breathing vaulted. In, out, in, out. Its sour, fetid breath mixed with the sickly sweet smell of blood. I tried hard to fight it. I failed, and soon sleep's heavy hand successfully pressed down on my weary mind. The girl in my dream was pretty, slim body, short, hair long and straight, as dark as the skies in the province, eyes deep and shadowy. She watched me as I slept, so close to my face, I could place a hand to her cheek and ask why she was there. She whispered. Her face grew distorted. Then she started shaking back. How did they find us? I sat up in the hallway and watched her.
I will deal with them. No, I need your help in the gateway. Send your guards.
She was trying to scream, was filled with the
Perhaps in an
same
attempt to
choking, gasping
reactivate the gateway network. We should access that
doors shook,
console and
as if
attempt
there
to
was
open the
some
door.
violent commotion happening in the room. And then, silence. Only my beating heart banged in my ears. Still, I did not open my eyes. Not now. Not until I could hear the alarm, so I could safely take the money. It did not end there. The next sound I heard sickened me more than anything I had ever experienced. A rhythmic, moist sound, like someone carving flesh with a saw. A thump as something heavy hit the floor. Footsteps, heavy and slow, headed my way. Every inch of my body screamed to open your eyes. Run! I'm shaking, sweating, so fear-stricken like a bellowing animal pulled upside down before its throat was slit.
To destroy our world.
Breathe. I couldn't.
I
needed to run, but I couldn't. I was afraid. I'd lasted too long keeping my eyes closed. I couldn't open them, no matter how insane it sounded. Footsteps stopped right next to the bed I lay on. It was once more pressed close to my face, breathing, gasping. I felt like my muscles would snap under the tension. My fear was like 1,000 knives angled toward my body. Slippest blue threatening to kill me.
We want the same
Minutes
thing.
stretched on, slowly, cruelly, pointed out of everything. The need for money, fights with strangers, terror and all.
I rely on him to help me continue.
Pointed out. Out! Out! And then, a blessing like the sun after a typhoon. The sound of the alarm clock. 3 a.m. I opened my eyes and found myself in
lost. I know it.
There was nothing there. Nothing on the floor. I heard sounds
responded to my pleas for assistance with dread silence.
The money on the dresser.
Recourse to harness the technology for myself.
I didn't even grab it.
I could step through the
Get out of the house
and meet them as an equal. I am confident they will turn back time and make everything as it was before. The base in the open system is lost to me.
The next morning, I sought out some answers to the house.
Can use it as cover to collect the program and bring it back to me.
Then I was sent my way to family to find out if the house was for sale, and check if there was any history.
I am our people's last.
Years ago, a wealthy man once lived there. He was quiet and kept to himself. He seemed to cause no harm to anyone. Every once in a while, he took the call girl to keep him company at night, but many men did the same. Not much to be suspicious about, until the neighbors smelled something foul coming from his home. They found him in his room, the headless body of a girl on the floor. Who knows how long he had been there with the body? Maybe days. He was standing still, like an upright coffin, and in his outstretched hand was the girl's head. He wouldn't put it down, just held it out, so steady and still, his expression dead. They shot him right there. The captain opened a drawer and drew out a file. This is a photo of the girl who believed was killed. She was an orphan, only 16. Probably did what she did for the money. The other girls who worked with her said she had been with the man 2 other times. It was on the 3rd night when he killed her. Here, take it. She was the same girl from my dream. What chilled me more was the sweater she wore in the photo. White and soft. The same one I had found in the second-hand store with the note in the pocket. I thanked the captain, barely able to let out words. When I returned to my shanty later that day, I discovered that the white sweater had disappeared from the closet, and so did the note. When I asked my roommates if they had seen it or taken it, I got the answer no. ended up working at the call center and found a job as a caregiver for an elderly people. Although the work was hard and slow, I persisted and received up enough points to promotion. Sometimes, when I found myself spending the next few months, I remember the blue light of the darkness how returning in the
I have it. What?
Strangers, potential traitors, returning for the money and the credit. Trying to stop forget it. Still, I wonder, what if I had opened my eyes? A few years later, I came upon an article in the news. A small one about the social workers. They always went to stories of politicians.
Enough. You have won. And in winning, you have doomed the Romulan people.
For more information, including pictures and videos of the stories told on this podcast, or to suggest stories for future episodes, please visit us at CreepyPod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or email us at creepypod@gmail.com. All stories
They were not my crimes. I was betrayed by the king. Now those crimes will never be undone.
protected by a
In stopping me, you have doomed billions of Romulans to remain dead. Now you shall live with that guilt, as I have.
Before we leave, may I suggest we look for evidence of the materials we discovered at Horus? They will undoubtedly prove vital in Taurus's trial. We should also overload the gateway, make certain it can never be used again.
Patron words mentioned releases, shoutouts, sticker sets, bonus episodes, and personalized donations. Please check out the reward tiers at patreon.com/keepingpod.
How nice to see you again. I feel like we are becoming old friends. I will admit that your previous attempts to thwart my plans have been irritating. But your actions today have more than made up for those petty annoyances. Taurus still has her loyalists among my people. An open move against her would have been
Creepy,
from my greater
a podcast dedicated to sharing the most famous, chilling, and
disturbing creepypastas and urban legends in the world. Whether these stories truly happened or are simply fabrications is for you to decide. These stories may contain graphic depictions of violence and explicit language.
But you played your part perfectly. I could not have asked for a more obedient tool. Now, if you will transport terrorists to my ship, we can avoid any unpleasantness.
Credited to user Mr. 12.
The Lisette informed us that you might need some assistance with the prisoner transport. Good thing we brought some backup.
It was a quiet place to grow up.
Taurus is wanted by the Romulan Star Empire for high treason and war crimes against the Romulan people. The Empire is the legitimate government of the Romulan people, and I demand you turn this terrorist over for trial and punishment.
Houses, and the local woods.
You are a disappointment. Nevertheless, you did remove Taurus from the game, and for that I am grateful. Consider your decisions more carefully the next time we meet. I can be a powerful ally, or I can be your worst enemy.
Still, this gave us plenty of space to play in. We spent many summers moving tree forts and playing hide and seek amongst the tall trees. One late summer evening, me and my friend Jess rubbed near the creek, sitting closer to some rabbits that had the woods before us to run away.
Prisoner transfer successful. Taurus is safely secured in the brig. We can take it from here. One more thing. We're detecting some unusual energy residue from the surface. Our databases identify it as Iconian. Do you have any idea where they went?
Looks like we missed all the excitement, but I have been monitoring your progress. On behalf of the Romulan Republic, I would like to thank you and your crew for your assistance. I am confident that the Federation will provide more than adequate security for Taurus until her trial can be arranged. You can transport Gaius back to the Lisette as soon as you are ready.
And with the sun going down, this would probably be the last chance I've had to play before I had to go home for dinner. The rabbit was blissfully unaware of my presence. Brown coat, red sails, ears floating down on his head. The enemy escaped me as I crept up on her. Silent as the leaves floating in the breeze. Sprint. I was about 4 meters away from her now. It still hadn't noticed me.
We have much to consider. If the destruction of the Romulan homeworld was a deliberate act, not only was it mass murder, but that one event has been a major cause of the destabilization of the quadrant over the past 40 years, not to mention the light that it casts on the internal struggles of the Romulan people. This one horrible act set off a chain of reactions that could change the galaxy forever. We must know who did this and why. The interrogation of Taurus will no doubt lead to many truths. But I am troubled by these remnants. Why did they turn on Taurus? And where did they go?
I stretched out my arm, fingers extended. Wait till Jess heard about this. I'd be the first kid in town to have touched a forest rat. My hand was 1 foot from brushing its soft metal mound. I could see each individual hair on its back. 30 centimeters. I'd done it. I'd done it. Suddenly, an ear-splitting scream pierced the air, shaking the silence of the woods into shock, causing the rest of the birds to panic and scatter from the trees. I gasped, quick as a flash, the rabbit was under the bush and gone forever. I cursed aloud and spat. Frustration clouded my head. It was a good few seconds before I even stopped to think where the scream would come from. When it like a falling tree, it hit me. Jess. I sprinted back up the creek as fast as I could. She'd been about 200 yards back when I'd last seen her, near the old silver birches. It took me about 2 minutes to reach the spot. Next, there was a big pile of rock. legs. My brow was covered in sweat, my hair was messed up, and I whipped through it. But all I could think of was finding Jess. Even though I knew the woods were perfectly safe, I cursed myself for having left her alone. I spun around in a circle, scanning for any sign of her. Jess! I healed out, my voice traveling through the woods and echoing off the trees. It's getting darker, and tall shadows were being cast all around me like a net. Jess, where are you? Call out to me! Jess! I stood and listened.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Commander.
The Romulans had a base, known as the Vault, that they used for research into Borg technology. This facility was abandoned in the chaos after the destruction of the Romulan homeworld, but intelligence suggests that the work there was far enough along that it was used to
I have new missions for you.
Was covered in black rags, ripped and torn across its thin wire wood. With blue coats hanging on its head, obscuring its features. Two wide pupilless eyes staring at me from a shadowy recess.
Oh, wave eyes.
Spines, flesh, and teeth. Slippery arms with hawk-like fingers, stinking hands almost draped against the floor sides. I said there was powerless. Wondered how I missed it.
Really? Did you strain around the counter there, Jess?
Harvested in slaughterhouses.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Thick. Despair. I was choked, but my mouth wouldn't make a sound.
Huh.
Just kept
It wouldn't be nice.
petrified.
Huh.
Blood running cold through my veins. The birds had stopped yelling in protest. And now there was nothing but silence. And I, locked in a gaze that I would remember to the day I would die. I don't know how long I was standing like that. It felt like minutes, but it was probably only a few seconds. Suddenly it shifted its weight and hunched down. For a brief second, I thought it was going to start running at me. And I almost threw up. Uncontrollable fear racking my body. Then I noticed that it stooped to close into the compartment. I cried out silently. It was Jess. Her limp body looking like a doll compared to its freakishly proportioned frame. Despite being thin and stick-like, I picked her up and walked out of the hand with ease. Fingers clasped around her waist. Teeth were bared and a crooked, humorless smile. It opened up part of its shell and pulled her close against its blackened torso. I caught glimpses of a rib cage and rotten flesh. I reached out my arm. Somehow, I could pull her back to me. But it was too late. It had turned and started to stride off deeper into the forest. Even if I'd known the area of the woods and had the strength to move my legs, I would have never been able to catch up to it. And before I even knew it had disappeared from sight. I never been there at all. The heavy smell of decay was left lingering in the air. Evidence that I had just imagined the whole thing. I snapped my head around and began to run back towards town. It's a good miles distance, and I'd never gone that far before. That day I ran. I didn't stop, jumping over fallen logs and dug branches. I dared not look back. The darkness was almost complete by the time I burst from the undergrowth to the town's edge. I sprinted to the bar and threw myself into the door, practically collapsing onto the floor. I don't really remember much after that. From what I was told later on, it took them 14 minutes to stop me from screaming about a demon I'd seen in the woods. Then we had to find Jess. By the time they'd actually gotten the story out of me, I organized the search party 2 hours had passed. Just as Dad shouted at me, asked me what happened was being thrown. I could only stare dumbfounded and mute until my mother dragged him off me and told him to get free. The sheriff organized the townsfolk into groups and engaged in the section of the woods. I tried to tell them that they all needed to bring their guns, that the thing had to be killed. The thought of going up against such a nightmare unarmed was too much. I begged my father to stay, but he told me to calm him down. That I was talking nonsense. I was probably just in shock. My mind formed stories to deal with what had happened. He said he hoped the rest would watch by my mother and said that one of the groups into the woods. 3 years passed. I was laying in bed unable to sleep, huddled in my blankets, paranoid for my shadow. It settled in to I was going to come back for me. Witness to its abomination. When I heard the front door open, the heavy steps of men rolled downstairs. I listened as they sat down and began to talk. That was the sheriff speaking. What was it? Or at least the sheriff. I don't know the speaking, but he sounded young. Maybe one of the front hands. All I know is my best friend in the house. Started going mad and told off what's best about it was sleep on. They didn't come back. 2 hours on the road. Voice of my dad. He said he was back in the house, feels safer. Chris, they thought close up by the crew. My voice is still
Have you heard from Ken yet?
Nice, Chris. It's true. There was
Oops.
This one.
In order to avoid drawing too much attention, you need to fly under the radar, so to speak. Admiral Tenay has authorized the requisition of a shuttlecraft for you. You can fulfill the requisition in the shipyard. Once you're ready, take the shuttlecraft out to the Hakona system. If you have a runabout fighter or other such craft available, feel free to use it, but do not approach the system in a starship. We want to avoid the notice of whoever's in the vault. The shuttle will also be able to dock with the vault and explore the interior.
Stairs for a few minutes before we climbed up the stairs again. Before I took it, I was making sure that was okay. Just pretending this. I had nothing to say. I didn't know what to tell them. But one thing I knew for certain. I hadn't been hallucinating. I had truly seen it.
You comfy like that, huh?
Whatever it was. It had just. I waited for about a half hour after I had climbed into this bed before I sat up and so I could look outside my phone. Dressed as quiet as I could, I descended the stairs. My father got me on a shoe into the garden.
Any questions? Very well. Remember, you must use a shuttlecraft, runabout, fighter, or similar small operations craft to undertake this mission. We need on-site intel from the interior of the vault. Starfleet will not clear you to enter the Hakona system otherwise. Good luck.
My breath misted in the air and still unseasonable cold shiver. I looked into the forest. Once a place of fun and laughter. Dark and sinister. Branches stretching and contorted toward the sky like snow fingers. That big Jess. I couldn't move myself fine. Dazed and to my full relief, I swallowed back the throat began tenaciously walking towards the woods. Don't worry, Jess. I'm coming. As I entered the woods, I really began to question my actions. I knew that what I was doing was not solving any situation. My foolhardiness could very well be tragic. The thought of walking a creature out here. I knew anything I had ever met. Just as in the situation I saw was the one thing that drove me on. I trudged up the road. I'd never been where everything was where it should be. Different. It was as if these were backwards to me during the day. But now in the dark, it was a alien place. This was its domain. I was a stranger. Unwelcome. This feeling was reinforced by the fact that I had no idea what lay beyond the crater. So I had seen the beauty on the other side. Directly across the creek. Water soaked through my bones and dampened my transference. As soon as I stepped over to the other side, I felt like I was lost. Now when I found my way back, which direction would I go? The first question, and everything's in my mind, decided to head out in the direction I'd last seen the creature going. I started walking, vigilant for any signs of movement or noise. I expected there to be animals out to see it at night. But here it was silent, dreaming through all. Every footstep sounded like the creature where I was. I stopped for a moment and looked around with my flashlight. I felt like the darkness was swallowing me. That the thing just sat outside the borders of light, laughing at my efforts to find it. I realized that everything right there flagrantly served to give away my position. Effectively, better advantage than I had over it. After a pause, I switched off the flashlight and waited for my eyes to adjust. It was difficult at first. After a few minutes, I could force the sense of being through.
Oh, why are you running from me?
It was about 2 minutes later when I heard it. A short sharp yell to my left in the distance. I paused to wait and see if the noise was made. Later, I snapped back onto the darkness. I was not moving. Swallowing fear, I sunk my haunches and slowly towards the house. I was leaving some place where I could
Your shadow will be hearing from him pretty soon, eh?
Yeah, it should be.
silently. After a while, I reached a clearing with the trees parted to a grassy patch about half the size of a football field. The center of the clearing was a rocky depression representing the earth. I was going to make my way over and investigate what I saw. I was standing vigilantly, seeing through slowly like its way over to the
Well, I may as well head out. So you enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Don't forget where I am when you get home.
Well, my memory's not like yours. Smush. Alrighty?
Mm-hmm.
My memory's not like yours.
Yeah.
Self-review, strained to listen. I heard it sniff again, so walking on in some like a small circle. Nothing. I waited. It seemed like an eternity. I waited. I was unbearably tense.
I'll see you when you get home.
Struggle down the smooth wall. I was in the caves and there was nothing to do about it. I must be crazy. Fear consumed my brain so completely that I must not be able to feel anything anymore. I thought. This was proven wrong when I slipped and fell off the side of the rock, landing awkwardly and some pain shooting through my ankle. I almost cursed aloud and bit down on my lip and shouted silently in my hand. Luckily, it wasn't twisted, just achy, and I was able to walk on it without a problem. The last thing I needed now was a broken foot. My thoughts were so preoccupied with the sudden pain that I'd forgotten I was now right next to the cadaver. My leg bumped against it, and I spun around, gun at the ready, almost firing it off into the rocks. I quickly berated myself for being so trigger itchy and looked down. Grief and repulsion flooded through me. From this close I could see it wasn't Jess. It wasn't human. Instead, I realized it was a large dog. One of the sheriff's hounds that had gone missing earlier. Its back was snapped in two and folded upon itself, and its snout was crumpled back into its face to leaving a flat, tooth-filled gap. Blood, fur, bone, and brain were splattered over in one eye, loosely from the socket. Yeah, I was positioned in such a way that
Again, this is Jim.
Right at
Just wondering if you're still coming at 7 or if I should be expecting somebody else.
the smell of
You
death
give me
in
a
the
call
cave
back
was
if
overpowering
you get
as
this.
close to the cave, and I dreaded to think that other corpses were nestled away inside. I was about to begin scrambling back up the edge of the depression when I heard a sob. I spun around and stared at the darkness of the cave. It sounded faint, as if it had come from quite a way away, echoing through narrow rock passages until eventually finding its way to the surface. It came again. This time it was unmistakable. It was the sound of a child crying. The first thoughts that rushed through my head were joy. She was alive. It must be Jess, hidden way deep in this creature's lair. And as soon as the thought had come, I realized, with a fear unlike any I had ever thought possible to feel, that I'd have to go into the cave and get her. I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't turn back now. I may as well kill myself with the gun I held in a shaking hand.
Yeah, this is Jim McGurman calling.
Pulled out the
Just
flashlight.
checking to see if Ken's coming to get me at 7 for the concert at the Coliseum. Alice Cooper. Somebody give me a call back at 226-221-9373. I keep fighting.
I entered the mouth of the cave and shone beam over the walls and floor. The beam danced over bones scattered across the ground. It looked as if every type of animal before us had eventually wound up in here, torn apart and stripped of flesh. I covered my mouth and nose with the sleeve of my gun hand and continued. There were 4 passages, and the sob began to become more resistant a lot. Thankfully, it was one of the wider ones. I found I could comfortably walk down instead of to stand up straight. As the creature would have come down from the mouth of the cave, we trapped. However, if it was already in the cave, and I was walking straight, it would spin me disproportionate arms. I swallowed hard and continued to walk. After a couple of meters, it turned right sharply and opened up into a small version of the chamber I had just come from. I was amazed to find those 4 items: watches, jewelry, passports, letters, glasses, clothes, books, wallets, and went on. As if a museum of sentimentality and trinkets. I picked one of the passports and opened it up. Paul Ashcroft, born 1942 here in Ohio. Another Rick Richard marked, born 1854 West. I shone the light over the letters, seeing addresses were in places all over the country. And it dawned on me. I finally understood. It all made sense. The reason I had never seen this thing once before was because
Obviously, this station isn't as abandoned as Intel suspected. Sensors are reading several Riemann ships in the area, and that's just the ones that we can spot. That station is immense. It must have taken an incredible amount of manpower and technology to build it. It's almost the size of a small moon.
their items as souvenirs. Another sob brought me back to reality and I dropped the passport to the ground. I heard to walk to the back of the chamber and call it the museum. From the short passage.
Sensors are reading a sophisticated tachyon detection network, as well as several patrolling vessels. For an abandoned station, this facility certainly has a lot of activity. My people are experts at stealth technology. If we want to approach unseen, we must avoid confrontation and find a way to evade or jam their sensor grid. We must assume that if we engage the ships here, they'll notify whoever is left on the station, and it may become difficult to find an entry point.
I didn't know quite what to do. I decided I'd best let her know that it was me before deciding on anything. I shone the light upwards and made up my face. Just thought it saw me and stared. Jess, I've come to rescue you. raced her back from me. I went to lift her. I saw the metal clear its raw and upgraded through the cave. I shone the light down and my heart sunk. She was chained to a heavy metal brake pin and nailed deep into the rocks beside her. I couldn't escape. She snapped. I tried to pull it off, but it was loose. I stood for a second, defeat washing over me. I could go get help, come back and... No, she squeaked. Hands right across her face. It was all I could do to promise not to leave. I thought for a few moments, then lots of my only option. I took her chain and brought her behind. Just, I am gone. I have to shreds of chain to set you free. It's going to be very long, so probably the trick is to... She said nothing, just looked at me. As soon as it's broken, we're going to have to go out to the cave entrance and head through the woods.
This asteroid is unusually large, and it's clearly been mined. It was probably used for raw construction materials, like most of the debris here. This particular asteroid contains pervium, titanium, and uranium. It was probably tractored from a nearby system and brought here to construct hull components and power systems. We could probably cut a piece from the asteroid with our weapons for further analysis.
I'll do it on 3, okay? 1, 2, 2. A guttural moan sounded from the mouth of the cave and carried its way to us. I saw the color drain from Jess's face, and I knew mine was doing the same. It was back. Without thinking, I pulled the trigger. The gun cracked. Deafening in such a small space, and the chain shattered. I grabbed Jess before she could react and pulled her up, sprinting towards her to see him. As we entered into it, I dived behind the cable floor with brick and brick going down with me. No sooner had we landed on the floor, I saw the creature enter into the room and scrambled with the passage we just exited from. As soon as it was gone from sight, I pulled it back up and pushed her towards the passage that led to the cave mouth. She didn't need to be told twice, and we ran as fast as our legs could carry us. As the cave mouth came into view, a scream full of horror and anger rang from behind us, as it discovered its meal had been stolen. As we got to the cave mouth, I could hear wood splintering, and the tinkle of dozens of tiny objects hitting stones and toys and cruising after us. I grabbed Jess's foot and hoisted her up till she grabbed the lip of the depression and pulled herself into the clearing. I spun around and saw it exit the passage into the main chamber. Its hood had fallen down and exposed what could be described as a half-insect, half-human face. I fired a shot in its direction and screeched in agony as the 44 bullet connected with its thigh, knocking me back for a second. I took the distraction and spun around, leaping for the ledge of the depression and grabbed the rope. It just seized me by the collar and helped pull me up just as I felt how the fingers brushed the bottom of my shoe. We started to run across the clearing. The sun was coming up now. The sky was pink and red, casting a slight glow on everything. We ran, and ran, and ran, and ran. For a while I could hear them crashing through the trees after us. If I hadn't hit it in the thigh, I don't think we would have stood a chance of outrunning it. But somewhere, some god was watching over us. It was about 45 minutes before we reached the creek. By the time we saw the edge of the woods and probably passed. I still to this day do not know how we managed to run so fast and far without stopping. But I do remember the adrenaline coursing through me so violently that I shook for hours after. When we reached Venture, within 2 minutes, Tom was stripped down as people surrounded us.
This fragment is full of duranium. With a little bit of radiation, it'll cause duranium shadows on scanners, which would look like a weapon suite. If the Tal Shiar set up their sensor net appropriately, their scanners will exclude this kind of stellar debris. If we give the fragment a nudge with our tractor beam and follow along behind it, we could slip through the sensor grid.
After a couple hours, we came across something on the cave system just as we described. The cave was empty. The shutter chamber was fogged, the back untouched. Which was the information given for us revealed that the stars.
Follow that rock. Approaching the tachyon grid perimeter. If we're detected by it, that will definitely alert the Remans. Picking up some unusual energy readings. We'll need to explore the accessible interior areas and see what we can find. Looks like there's another access conduit across from us. We'll have to think three-dimensionally in here. Sensor readings are also picking up a few scattered life signs.
For more information, including pictures and videos of the stories told on this podcast, or to suggest stories for future episodes, please visit us at CreepyPod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or
we've tripped some security systems.
All stories told on this podcast can be found at creepypod.com and protected by a Creative Commons license. Some rights reserved unless otherwise stated.
The doors are a massive set of interior bulkhead doors. They're segmenting the different parts of the base. Possibly a safety measure in case something went wrong in one of the central areas. Access appears to be controlled by use of security keys. We can disable it if we can find a code block that matches part of a security key.
It's the outrageous story of two misfits living on the planet. How they became the central players in a sprawling territory.
Because
this defense turret was hooked into part of the security network. There's a security code in its subsystem. Code block 6750. Microgravity storage containers. Since this interior space has no artificial gravity, they're just left to float here. There's an assortment of construction materials and personal effects, including a personal access code key, 0668.
I'm Dan Pierce. This is It's the outrageous story of two misfits living on the fringes. How they became essential players.
The security node for this block of empty residences includes a code key, block 9904.
Russian Cooker is available on the CBC Listen app, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
The security key is on a rotation. Each code block matches a piece of one key. Key in the appropriate code when the rotation matches to it. Trying a code, that's it. Well done. We should be able to bypass the system and gain access now.
Dylan Farmer, Ashley Johnson, Michael Goldberg, Chad Thomas, Megan F. Ross, Michael Robinson,
Microgravity storage crates, mostly construction supplies. No weapons or unusual energy signatures.
Personalized RSS feed to personalized stories written specifically for them. Submissions are closed to method and music. I want to thank everyone who sent in the requested submissions. If you haven't already contacted me about your story, I'm sorry, but I decided to pass on. I really hope to hear your stories previously in the future. That being said, the 31 stories are set. The actors are being blackmailed. Scripts are being sent. A lot of time goes into October, friends. Can't wait for y'all to hear it.
Above us, that's a Borg sphere. TOS Star must have used this base as a storage. Electrical discharges, probably from ionization leaking from the sphere and research nodes. We should be cautious about flying too close to them.
A podcast dedicated to sharing the most famous, chilling, and disturbing creepypastas and urban legends in the world. Whether these stories truly happened or simply fabrications is for you to decide. These stories make
The Borg sphere is dormant.
of violence and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Presents The Grind Zone. Creepypasta.com. With destination Cynthia on Wheels. Featuring Mr. Creepypasta.
The following was found in an envelope on a bus bound for Chicago.
My name's Jason Grimes.
Quiet in this area. Too quiet.
People will understand the things they've done with them. And so that I found out things that it all began with the reading of the book. My mother, who had left, passed away due to a heart attack. Her body.
This is disturbing. We're looking at a facility used to build Thalaron weapons. If the Remans have infiltrated this base, they may be trying to secure those weapons.
She wasn't exactly in the best of health. It had been a surprise that she wanted me to have the whole thing home. It never exactly had much love for the place. Talk the first chance I got.
So our intruder finally arrives at the heart of the matter. Have you seen all that you came to see, little spy? Does it really matter? Call me Overstep, if a name is that important to
I certainly didn't plan to keep that creepy run-down place. But at the same time, I knew there was a chance that I'd put a bit of cash on the market or something, but I wanted some jobs.
you. That should be obvious. I intend to make use of this station to further my agenda. Your presence, however, is a bit more curious. I expect that you're operating under the shroud of Empress Sela, whether you realize it or not.
I guess that
Doubtless you have discovered the source of those rays.
still find it back forest.
Understand that I have little desire to unleash this sort of destruction, but my hand is forced.
There's still
The
something
Riemann people will only be liberated if we are able to make a clear and decisive stand against the Romulans. The technology of this station will allow us to do so.
First found it. No, I didn't have the best memories of the old place. How long had it been since I'd stayed?
Just as your Federation offered assistance to the Romulans before the supernova of Hobus and the subsequent destruction of Romulus? No. History has shown that I cannot trust in the good intentions of the Federation. An oppressed people must be ready to seize their liberty through any means available to them. The technology of this station has provided me with indisputable means.
My cousin said that she noticed a big old astronaut key in the keyhole in the door the last time she came out to visit.
I will deal with the future when it arrives. For me, there is no tomorrow until my people are free. However, I respect your commitment to your position. It's a shame you're at cross purposes.
Also, none of us wanted to go to those Emersons. It was weird. Seeing all those old toys in the room was still there. As if our mother had been trying to remember something that had been played out in the past. Emerson had always been my mother's favorite. One who she would lavish all her attention on, and I saw that she had stuck with drawings and all over the place. Drawings of pirate ships, odd, comical-looking figures with strange designs. My brother told me that when he'd stay for dinner, would still set up a place for Emerson as if she expected him to just show up. So for all these years, and she still expected him to put her working through it. That first night I spent alone in the house, I didn't sleep very well. Crazy as it sounds, I kept thinking that I heard noises in the house. People talking to each other. I must have checked on each other. Check to see if I left the TV on. It's still on the light. I go back to bed, and after a little while, the noises would start up again. Sometimes I was sure that I could feel something well. It was around 4 in the morning that a thought occurred to me, and I went to the locker door in the hallway, pressing my ear against it and listening closely. I was sure I heard what sounded like a bubble too. The next day I went into town to buy some food. We met some last night. I also bought a ham and the doorbell. It was one chat with the cashier that I read something unsettling about the I had casually brought up where I was staying after the contacted her on the meeting around here and told her that I was planning to try and get some out. A short burst of laughter before I looked embarrassed about it. I just didn't do it explain. He said the following.
No one with any sense is going to find that dumb. No one would have a brain to buy anything else within 10 miles of that place.
Why not? Seems like a nice enough neighborhood.
Because of all them kids going missing, of course.
We've gone on to explain that for the past few years, there have been a sinister rise in the ritual and vanishing of their homes in the area. There have been search parties around the place and every time now, turned up. The kids have vanished from their homes with no signs of post-century struggle and no evidence left behind at least a whole might have been responsible. People were trying to move away as fast as possible. Few who would buy a house in the area once heard about what was going on. A place where a child kidnapped and killed was active. I have to admit, the story kind of creeped me out. Something so strange was going on. This thing was going on. This night. It's set up to me. Bust that door down. My neighbor, as young woman, Charlie, found me out. I was working on a homespun lawn when I got back. be alone if you broke the door down. Maybe you're on the bridge for 8 minutes. Oh God, noises last night. I asked if she'd like to join me. I was in the room.
Mysterious locked door? Very Scooby-Doo.
She said, "Is it okay?" Sure. I'll be Freddy if you get next one. Someone with me. Presence made me nervousness. I felt while listening to the cashier's stories and clearly.
Trust me, I'm more Velma than that.
Once inside the house, I packed away the week's groceries. Poured drinks for myself and Charlie before we went to the white door. It only took a few swings and the English smash it open. The lock breaking, the assault, the door swinging open. Behind it was a staircase.
I am afraid our time is at an end. My associates have already finished loading the Thaleron weapons that we need, and I have other operations to manage. I think we both...
I'm sure.
Oh my god, look at all this cute stuff.
Blast the door locks.
Next few days went by without anything odd happening. Put the puppets up on the bed. House. Strange is when we'll come to this. All the color drained out to the study about the scent until it's white.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Wait a minute. I was sure I thought something she was. I wanted to go down and check it at the same time. Something felt weird. When there was a knock at the door, suddenly I was almost jumping out of my skin. My head jerked inside towards the source. Take a moment to stop.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Oh, cautiously, seeing Charlie standing.
We need to talk.
She explained that she ventured to a friend of hers built a farm in the basement a few days ago. When she brought up the name of my place, I don't know why I asked her to describe the puppets. Charlie said that she had never seen it like this before. But he seemed to be almost psychotic. His eyes bugging out of his head, his face glistening with sweat. She'd been worried he was going to have an attack.
Was your brother involved in anything weird?
She asked. And I honestly didn't know how to respond to that. Ever since I was bad as a little kid, I never got I couldn't imagine him ever provoking such a threatening reaction. It felt like grown man. I asked her if he'd said why the puppets were so awful, and she shrugged.
All the stuff he was saying wasn't making much sense. He just said it's not the puppets, it's what they're made from. And then he just got up. He said he couldn't be in my house anymore, and then he ran into his car and drove off.
I decided that as she shared her weirdness with me, we had to open up parts of the weirdness of my life. I explained about the odd noises, music and sewing machines suddenly turned itself on. And against my better judgment, I decided to descend into that pitch black basement once again. I'm not sure what I expected to find, but I was sure that something would be wrong.
Reinforcements have arrived and are just past that nebula. We don't have much time. We need to meet with our allies and stop that ship.
I kind of wanted something strange to happen. Just to prove it wasn't magic or all this.
We are now in the USS Laza is signaling us. They're going to engage the Riemann ship, but they want us to take care of the fighters and plasma torpedoes. We are now in the micronebula.
Something. It sounded like music. surface was. Could she have fallen up here too? I'm so off somehow.
That was quite an
There's
explosion.
something not right.
Probably from the Thaleron weapons carried aboard the ship. We're going to leave the system under high warp to draw off any reinforcements that might come looking. Suggest you return to Federation space.
And I realize how ridiculous that sounds. But I was so it's just a tiny speed. A torch in its hand. It's going to As if I didn't know this. I thought to myself, why did it pop into my head? With a bit of work, we managed to stick one of the wall people that was covering most of the door. Revealing that it was a great red color. Being chipped in a few places. With a small keyhole. I assumed they had just pushed in where it was unlocked. Or perhaps slid to the side as there was no place for anyone to have once been either. It was then that I noticed that Charlie had stopped smiling. In fact, she was staring at the door with what looked like a mix of confusion and fear, taking a few steps backward. When I asked her what was wrong, she just shook her head and made excuses to leave. I asked her if she was alright, and she told me she was tired and promised to help me try and find the key to the door in the morning. So it was plausible enough. But I knew that something was wrong here. For the rest of the evening, I was listening to what things were looking for some clue, perhaps, as to what it was that had inspired such fear in Charlie's friend. For the most part, it was old toys and childhood drawings, nothing of much use. But there was nothing wrong, though. There was a picture that I guess Emerson had taken years later. There was a crude drawing of a boy sat in his bed, and I think it was meant to be Emerson himself. Around him were stood several figures. One was just a stick figure with a hat upon its head. Another was a portly man with a red mustache. There was just a scribble. shoes and clothes. Some spattered with old, dry rubber piled in a heap in one corner of the room. The floor was stained with patches of red, one of which, as I stepped into it, I realized was still somewhat fresh. Fresh and sticky like soda spilled on a movie theater floor. The room smelled of sweat, meat, and burnt hair. It took all I had not to throw up as I entered it. Wondering how the smell had traveled from this room to the basement. There was a pile of old video cassettes in one corner of the room, all labeled with things like Emerson's first bike ride and Emerson's first spelling bee. All old home movies, I guess. But mixed in with them.
Taking a preliminary look at your logs, it seems that things went a bit unexpectedly. I have a feeling this isn't the last time we'll be seeing the vault. The Reman commander you encountered is definitely a major player in the disintegration of the Romulan Star Empire.
A series of steps leading down.
We're going to send the information you gathered about him over to an old colleague of mine, Dr. Maximilian Peters, for analysis. If this Reman is a leader in their separatist movement, we'll have to deal with him again. And hopefully Dr. Peters can work up a psychological profile for him and a sociological analysis of the separatists.
And yet I did know about it.
Our next step will be to decode the signal intelligence and go through any remnants left from the ship that was destroyed near the vault. Now that we know that the Remans were hoping to use Thaleron weapons, we need to figure out their target locations. Right now, Starfleet knows far too little about a civil war in the making, but it'll take time to sift through all of the data. Keep in touch. Starfleet will notify you when we have a list. Oh, thanks for the good work.
He'd gone down into the dark, and my heart throbbed with pain. It actually physically hurt to try and remember. As if something was willing me not to. Had there been someone taught him this?
Excellent work.
I was sure.
We need to learn more about the conflict between Obasek and the Romulans. Sila's forces may indeed be hounding the Remans, but the use of Thaleron weapons is unacceptable. Not even the Klingons or the Breen will stoop to such barbarism. Starfleet intelligence will be working to decode the list of possible targets you acquired from the base's database. The next step may be to investigate these sites and find out why the Remans want to destroy them.
Congratulations, Commander.
The key that unlocked this one as well, and it opened with ease. There was music coming from within now, and the sound of waves crashing against the shore. I felt it pulling me towards it, calling to me like a silent song. I had to go inside, I thought to myself. I had to go inside. I wasn't alone in this room. I burned all the puppets later that night. Not that I imagine it mattered. They've been destroyed before, and it hasn't stopped them from coming back. They're just wood, meat, cloth.
Starfleet intelligence has decoded the list of Reman targets that you recovered from the vault. I need you to investigate one of these locations and determine why Obasek and his forces planned an attack there. The Vahar system is still technically part of the Romulan Star Empire, but Ferengi speculators have moved in, and the Empress has done nothing to remove them. The Ferengi have reopened the mines and are now doing business with anyone with platinum. You will go to the Vahar system under the pretense of negotiating a possible trade agreement with the Federation. Talk to Madron, the operator of the mines. Convince him to allow you access. Find out all you can. Once we know why Obasek and the Remans are targeting these mines, then we will be able to decide how to proceed.
I have new missions for you.
citizens of the Federation and her allies, it is my honor to introduce the official Starfleet ships of the Line Museum.